Network of awareness makes your brain coherent. One of the fastest growing podcasts. You can hear it 24/7. Got listeners out in London, informationalists in Paris. The echo spreading out, no parrot. Just dissect, digest, and share it. The righteous rhymes hit the spirit. Click 90 times, it won't perish. Cause y'all's the mind ain't no fairy tale like the valley our parents. It's time to rise, don't get weary. United minds, it's apparent. Download every single errand, but most ain't fit to catch it, even if they were Larry. Interviews, the interludes, they enter you, taking you on a journey like no other. It places you in a state of awareness. It's your fault if you hate the truth, cause Yahweh been Yahweh's on his way, my brother. Better change your views. All praise, yeah.
You are now tuned in to the Network of Awareness.
Peace and greetings. Presenting the Network of Awareness podcast radio station, providing in-depth information on society and culture in America and abroad, bringing you truth messages of inspiration, keen insight, reputable interviews, and so much more. So now, for the truth you've been waiting for, your host of the Network of Awareness podcast, Aura, the informationalist.
Yes. Peace and greetings, people from around the world. You're now tuned in to the live broadcast of the Network of Awareness. And for those that are able to join on this early morning, I greet you with a warm welcome and a grand rising. This is Or the Informationalist, owner and founder of the Network of Awareness. And if you don't know, the Network of Awareness is a podcast radio show bringing you truth and understanding amongst a long legacy of lies. And for season 5, what we're going to do is we're going to start transitioning back to how we originally started by doing nothing but interviews on the Network of Awareness with a couple of solo casts by myself, of course. But we're going to really focus on bringing out quality information through reputable interviews from people from all walks of life from around the world that are going to be talking about spirituality, political propaganda, authors, life coaches, people who have overcome major adversity in life, people who are entrepreneurs selling various products and services, psychologists, psychotherapists, narcissistic abuse professionals, people from different religious sects, people that are faith-bound and have their forms of congregation giving all praise to the Most High through the word of the Most High. And also, we're going to have business professionals. We're going to have people that are lyricists and musicians and hip-hop artists, R&B, all types of musical artists. And the list goes on, people. Pretty much a lot of people that we've already had on the show, but we're going to start focusing back on that because I was dealing with a narc. I was doing a lot of solo casting, and I wasn't realizing how much of an effect this narc was having on me in such a short period of time. And I'm so grateful that I got rid of my narc. And speaking of narcissism, this is another narcissism series episode. And we're ending on season 4 tomorrow. So this narcissism series episode is none other than Judgment for the Narcs. And the reason why I called it Judgment for the Narcs is because there's judgment coming for these narcs. Karma's a bitch, people. I've said it many, many times before. And a lot of these narcs that think that they're so high and mighty and think they get away with their bullshit, karma and judgment is coming for their ass. Because they're such pieces of shit and they think that their actions are going to go unnoticed. But the Most High sees all. And whatever energy you put out is the energy you're going to get back. So I'm going to bring some light to this on the network of awareness. We're going to bring a lot of awareness for Judgment for the Narcs, because I know a lot of people out there that have experienced this with the narc that they've had in their life, whether it be at work, whether it be in their personal romantic relationships, whether it be relationships with their family members. They will decline. A lot of them are declining as we speak, people. Things don't go well for the narc. And let's not forget to mention that when it comes to the narcissist that's always abusing, they are already suffering even when they think they're doing well, because their level of narcissism comes from a deep, deep-rooted sense of insecurity. And I'm going to also play a quick excerpt by a narcissistic abuse recovery professional. And this professional, he goes by the name of Danish Bashir, somebody that I follow on YouTube. I suggest you follow him if you are dealing with a narcissist and want to get away, or have already gotten away and need some insight and some information, or if you're currently about to deal with a narcissist or dating someone that you're not sure why their behavior is so up and down. This is the type of person you want to follow, because these are the professionals. I'm just a person who is a narcissistic abuse survivor. And like my situation, people, I was one of, if you want to call it luck, even though I don't believe in luck, but I was one of the fortunate ones. I was one of the ones that was graced with a lot of favor in getting away from these types of people a lot sooner than later. Unfortunately, some of us don't. Some of us wind up spending years and dealing with these types of people. But the good news is this, is that nothing goes unnoticed in this spiritual world that we live in. Because even in the physical, as spiritual beings having a physical experience, just remember that the universe is always watching. The Most High has got this on lock. And don't think for a second that things go unnoticed when it comes to narcissistic abuse. Because judgment is on their ass, just like it's on a lot of people's ass that are doing wickedness. And who does wickedness better than a narcissist? Pretty much nobody, unless you're a psychopath or a sociopath. With a lot of narcissists, they have those personality traits. And I can tell you that the narcissist that I was in a romantic relationship with, judgment is coming for her ass. It's hitting her right in the freaking face. And it's not something to revel in, but it's something to just be aware, so that it gives you more peace of mind that these crimes, these emotional crimes, these wicked crimes do not go unpunished, do not go unjudged. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So let's get this show started, shall we?
Please just tell me what's happening to me in plain English without the mumbo jumbo.
You are now tuned in to the Network of Awareness.
Let's go. People, I'm pumped up this morning. It's there's a hurricane passing through, so I decided to do this early morning live broadcast because I didn't want to run the risk of losing internet power like I have before when hurricanes pass through. So in order to avoid that interruption, let's just get it out the way now. And let's talk about some things. First of all, I just want to say congratulations to Ron, Don, the man, DeSantis. Now, as many of you know, I do cover politics from time to time, briefly. And I'm just happy that Governor Ron Don DeSantis got reelected, as he should. Because if we would have had Charlie Christ or Chris or whatever his name is, it would have been a shit show here in Florida, especially when it comes to the CACA-19 pandemic. It would have been a shit show, people. So for all of my listeners out in Florida, be very grateful that we didn't get the other guy. Because if we would have got the other guy, it would have been horrible. It would have been so bad that many of us would have decided to leave Florida. One of the reasons why I like living in Florida, besides the weather, and besides the fact that there's an abundant amount of opportunities out here to make a life for yourself, but also because of Ron DeSantis, because we have a governor that doesn't go along with the bullshit. Now, is he perfect? Absolutely not. None of these politicians are, but at least he puts his foot down when it comes to these major issues. But at the end of the day, people, we all got to give praise to the Most High because the Most High makes no mistakes. And I can tell you that I'm very grateful that we have our governor still going to be. Now, he might run for president and he might have a battle between Donald Trump that he might not win. But then again, he might, because a lot of people are starting to realize that, Donald Trump is really full of shit. He's another narc. That's the only reason why a lot of people gravitate to him, because there's a lot of narcissists in this country. Let's just call it what it is. It's a lot of narcissistic abuse going on in this country. Every day. This country is catered. It caters to the narcissist. That's why most of your narcissists will always make more money than other people that are not, because it is pretty much designed for you to be unempathetic here to be successful. If you could step on your mother's neck and not give a shit, you're going to succeed in this country, because this country is wicked to the core, people. It just is. And many people are starting to realize that. There's a lot of people think this country is the best place on the planet. And that's just because they haven't been to other places. All right. There's this thing where America's painted as the best place to ever live, which is so far from the truth. But when you look at the planet as a whole, this whole place is being terrorized by the forces of dark principalities. So keep in mind that when it comes to the narc, judgment is on their ass. Now, another thing I want to talk about before we get into the episode about judgment, for the narcs is, people, I'm ending my my season 4. So what I'm going to do is, for the next week, I'm not going to particularly start my next season until another week after. But I have a lot of work to do on my Roku TV channel, and I'm just going to put out little snippets of bonus episodes, just like maybe 5 to 15-minute episodes bonus. But what I am going to do on my social media handles is I'm going to put out audiograms of Blast from the Past. So episodes that you never got to hear, I'm just going to put little excerpts out of that so that you can hear it. And that way you can start downloading some of the episodes. Because if you're a new listener, if you've been listening for a while, I strongly suggest while I take this break in preparing for season 5, which is going to be live as fuck, I suggest that you definitely listen to my older episodes from season 1, 2, 3. I mean, I got some great episodes that have a ton of information, has great substance and awareness to them for your listening pleasure. So definitely, if you haven't, start downloading the shows from season 1, 2, and 3. And also you can see how the audio engineering progression from season 1 to season 4 is dramatically improved to where now I've spent so much time in audio engineering when it comes to voiceover, podcasting, and overall recording, studio recording. It is a service that I feel comfortable to provide now at a high level. So that is a service that will now be provided for those that are interested in doing voiceovers, those that are interested in having jingles done for them, those that are interested in having their audio recordings edited for podcasting, for their YouTube channels, or for whatever digital media you're doing. If you want some good digital audio recording and also some videos too, because my videos are on Roku, but I do have a nice share of videos on my Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter pages. And I'm going to, this week coming up, also reestablish a Facebook account for the Network of Awareness specifically and nothing else, because I did wind up deleting my personal account, which I've been wanting to do for a while. But because of my narc, and because of all of the other narc that slandered and caused discord for me, or should I say tried to slander my name, I decided, I got to get rid of a lot of these people that have been, following me on social media and stuff. Because I'm the type of person, I just don't like to deal with negativity. I like to have peace of mind every day, all day. And whatever negativity comes into my life, I get rid of it. I don't let it linger. Just like I didn't let the narcissistic piece of shit that I was in a relationship with linger in my life too long. Once I knew who she was, I had to let her go. And no matter how persistent she was, I was so grateful that I was able to let her go because, I'm the type of person like many of you, where when we invest into somebody, especially romantically, we're in it to win it. We want to do the best that we can by them, by ourselves. And we just want to be a major contributor to the relationship that we feel love and compassion for. But at the end of the day, some people are just not deserving of our love. And one of those types of people is the narcissist. They're the ones that are the least worthy of it. So what we're going to talk about right now is we're going to talk about how there's judgment for the narc. And I can tell you that for those of you that have experienced this type of an abuse or experiencing it right now, I hope that this episode is going to bring a lot of awareness for you so that you can start making the right moves in getting rid of these types of people out of your life, because they are toxic. They are detrimental to your well-being. Now, like I had mentioned, I'm going to have some excerpts here that I'm going to play from Danish Bashir, who is a narcissistic abuse recovery professional. And he's going to cover some things that the narcissist ends up with eventually because they are on a steady decline. And the older that they get, the sloppier they get, and the more that they start to diminish mentally, spiritually, emotionally, because they are pathetic and pitiful individuals that are on a self-destructive path to being somebody who's not going to have anybody in their lives, and they are going to die horrible deaths. Best believe it. It's guaranteed. And Danish Bashir is going to cover some of this in this excerpt I'm going to play from him, because it's very important to understand. A lot of us go through this abuse and we feel like we got the shit end of the stick, but you really didn't. You just got a great education in these types of people. That's the only thing that's happened. They're the ones that are truly suffering. And I got to be honest with you, people. I really don't care. I don't feel sorry for these people, not even a little bit. All right? Even though I pray for them, and I really do, I hope that they can find some type of humility in their life to really be repentful for the things that they've done to others. But the chances are that they're never going to repent, and they're never going to see the error in their ways to want to make them repent. But it's not, it's not our responsibility to make sure that they do. It's theirs. Our responsibility as survivors or people that are dealing with it is either to get away from it, avoid it from happening again. If it is happening right now, disengage and stay away, and make sure that you stay away. Because I could tell you from my personal experiences, I've made sure I stayed away. And guess what? My narc hasn't called me or anything. And I didn't even have to block him. I just set the tone for that. Because I'm the type of person, is enough. When enough is enough, it's enough. And if you want to go to war with me, I will go to war with you. I value my life. And if somebody's trying to mess with me, best believe we're going to have a serious problem, and I'm going to take care of it. And the only reason this man that slandered me is still alive right now is because I didn't do nothing. I'm going to let the Most High handle it. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times when they slander you and they create discord and triangulation, you never know what can happen. And I was getting threats. I was getting people sending me all types of derogatory and slanderous messages that were just pitiful. And I was starting to gear up to where it's like, oh, okay, this is about to get physical. So if it's going to get physical, we could get real physical, and we could take it to the extreme. And all praise to the Most High, they didn't have to go there, but I was ready to. And I was ready to bring them the business, especially the narc that created all of the discord. But the best thing we could do is, when it comes to vengeance, let the Most High handle it, people. We got better things to do. So let's listen to Danish Bashir break down and give you a better understanding why the narcissist ends up the way that they do. And it's not good. So understand this for what it is. And let's move on, right? So here we go.
For us to understand why narcissists end up worsening and how they end up becoming miserable, we need to understand the basics. We need to understand that a narcissist is like an empty vessel with a hole in the bottom of it. No matter how much love is poured into it, no matter how many efforts are put into it, it is still empty because everything just gets drained out, which means it needs a refill. That's why they need to depend on multiple sources of supply. And to get this supply, they have their own tactics and different ways of acquiring it. Some narcissists use their physical charm to get people, such as a somatic narcissist does the same thing.
Okay, so you heard him say about the somatic narcissist and how they use their physicality. Now, I could tell you that the narc that I was with, she used physicality. She started exposing her body to me on day one. And what I mean by day one is this. When I was getting to know her, just as a friend, just as a confidant, somebody that I was sharing information, having casual conversations or conversations about life, and just getting to know her on a platonic level. Excuse me. There was nothing being pursued romantically at this time. Everything was fine. We were having phone conversations and things of that nature, but nothing else. And it was quite pleasant. I got to admit, though, there was one time where I was falling asleep on her, so I had to hang up because she was just talking so much. They can talk their ass off. That's one thing with narcissists. They could talk. But a lot of times they talk, they're just rambling. And everything was fine. And then when I finally decided to want to get her to know her on a more romantic level, to pursue something romantically, we started to do FaceTime. And the very first FaceTime we did, she started exposing her breasts. And I just found that to be a little off. But I did not stray away. I stayed there because, of course, like the narcissist, they pivot into some type of excuse when you question them on things, and then they deflect. And that's exactly what they did. And I gave them the benefit of the doubt. But keep in mind what he's going to talk about. Okay. The somatic narcissist, they like to use physicality. So brothers and sisters that are listening to the show, be very aware of this. If this is how you met your partner, or if this is how somebody is behaving in the future for you, or if this is somebody that's behaving like this right now in your life, and they're using their physicality, and this could be for male and female. If they're showing their breasts, their chest, right? For the man, they're showing their chest, their pecs. For the woman, they're showing their breasts. They're showing their butt. They're showing skin. And they're trying to lure you in with the physicality and seduce you to try to get you to be very attentive to them. Because why? They need that energy supply. But remember, like he said, they need multiple sources of energy. So most of the time, if you're dealing with a narcissist, guarantee that they are a slut or they are a hoe. And this goes for both male and female, right? I'm talking about both male and female. Usually they are a slut and a hoe. I can tell you that the narcissist that I was with, I didn't realize that I was with a hoe. I was with a big time slut, a big time sloppy slut. And I was getting a lot of sloppy slut seconds, you know, and I didn't even realize it when I was having intercourse with this woman, which a lot of you, if you haven't heard the episode with Sleeping with the Enemies, part 1 and 2, check it out. Because I could tell you that the sex was not good. It was not invigorating. The narcissist that I was with couldn't even kiss. And it was more of what a lot of us men, when we have sex with women, there's certain women called layers. And what the narc I was dealing with, she was a layer. She wasn't really passionate in the bedroom, because the reason she wasn't is because they only give a shit about themselves. It's only about the pleasure that they can get. They're not really looking to make you happy or pleased or anything. Only time they do that is in the very beginning. Now, there are some narcissists that are really good in bed, all right? But not all the time. It just really depends, all right? I just was unfortunate that mine wasn't, and the kissing, oh, people, I can't tell you enough. It was horrible. I mean, it was sad. But that's one of the reasons I couldn't even get really intimate and excited like I have in the past with other women that I was in relationships with, because the foundation of the sex was horrible. You know, and I was like saying to myself, damn, I've been celibate and abstinent for this long for this, but I tried to make the best of it, right? Because what I did was I looked at other qualities that they were presenting to me at the honeymoon stage that I really appreciated, which was the conversations and the meaningful conversations at that. But just be aware that if somebody is using their body to gain your attention, chances are they're a narc. And you need to get the hell away as soon as possible. Let's continue.
Narcissists use money. Others use power. Some of them use influence. But essentially,
there he goes. Power, money, influence. Okay, I could tell you that towards the end of the relationship, My narc was trying to use money as a way to think that I was going to stick around. Like if I was some dude that was going to use her or need her for money. Because at the time we were together, I was going through a lot of financial hardship. And I'm still going through it. I'm still trying to build myself back up again financially. Because I took a major hit 2 years ago, and it's been kind of off and on where I haven't really gotten to the place where I used to be or any higher than that. But that's a struggle that I'm going to overcome. Because one thing I can tell you is that even though I'm not part of corporate America no more, and I'm not making the same amount of money I used to make, my independence gives me so much peace of mind. I can't even express to you how much peace of mind it gives me. But at the end of the day, right, the Most High don't want us to be broke. So we got to make it happen. And that's what I'm doing right now as we speak. But keep in mind that if they're using their money and they're using their influence, you really have to be aware of this, because this is just another tactic to gain your attention so they get that energy supply.
Essentially, we know that all of these ways that they use to get this supply are temporary in nature, are perishable, are not permanently reliable, because they can end. There is no permanence. For example, if a narcissist, we talk about a somatic narcissist who depends on their physical charm to get to the supply, to get the attention, admiration, adulation, acceptance, validation, and whatever. Eventually, as they get old, this dependence starts shaking because their body gets old. Wrinkles start showing up on their face. They can no more hold themselves together as they used to. Their muscles loosen up and become weaker. Their bones start to crack and give up. Everything that happens is quite.
And let's just keep it real, people. Those breasts that the narcissists have that are already drooping, that are already kind of sloppy, they're going to get wrinkly and even more sloppy. The wrinkles on their face are going to, like he said, come into fruition. And what are they going to have left? And you see it a lot on social media. You see these older women trying to dress young, trying to be more relevant. And it's like the narcissist can't embrace their age. Okay. And if the narcissist is fortunate, they're going to age well. But most of the time, when they are so destructive, they start to wither away. And I could tell you that from my personal experiences, when I was going through my breakup with the narcissist supposedly wasn't getting any sleep, but they looked hurt in the face. They looked like they was deteriorating, because spiritually they are people, and it catches up to them. You cannot even think for a second that you're going to cause nothing but strife and discord and misery to people's lives and think that you're going to stay looking good, that you're going to stay looking on top, right? Just like the two-tone face narcissist that I told you about that has his platform. It's like your health is going to deteriorate. I don't care who you are. It's just a fact. Now, that's why you see people that are very positive, very charitable, very kind, very loving and compassionate. Those people stay looking young for a long time. Why? Because it's the energy that they're putting out, people. It's just a fact. Let's continue.
Opposite of how a narcissist wants to be and what they were reliable on. And this is the point where the narcissist becomes worse, because it can no more control. They can no more control other people. They have lost that sense of power. It is a direct narcissistic injury that is beyond their control. It hurts their ego the most. The grandiosity is shaken and it falls apart. And then they just rely on the worst ways of controlling, hurting, and torturing people. You know that a hurt animal is more dangerous than an animal that has not been hurt. A hurt tiger is more aggressive than a tiger that has not been hurt. The same way, a hurt narcissist becomes more volatile, more aggressive, more destructive, because they just are so triggered within themselves that they just act like a beast.
So true. They act like a beast. They act like animals. They throw temper tantrums like a 5-year-old. You ever seen a grown adult throw a temper tantrum? It's quite pathetic. And I've seen my narcissist do it many times. It's almost like there's a demon on them that brings out this childlike temper tantrum when they don't get their way. I've seen it plenty of times with my narc. I know many of you have seen it. I know people that follow me on my social media handles on TikTok and Instagram have shared those experiences with me. And for those that, want to share their experience or want to share some light to this, please, put it in my chat room or put it in a review on Apple or Podchaser and let me know. Because it's very important that we share these experiences to give education to others. But this is what they do, people. And I could tell you that it's quite pathetic in seeing this behavior, but this is why they are the way they are. And if you haven't heard my episode, I did a really great episode about this called Hurt People, Hurt People. And that's in season 4. So that's just another episode. If you haven't heard Hurt People, Hurt People, definitely check it out. It's in season 4. Let's continue.
That is why, as they age, they end up becoming more dangerous than they were in the beginning. And that is why things are not going to change as time goes on. At this point of time, most of the sources of supply start leaving them. They can no more acquire new sources of supply. And that is why a narcissist can go into 2 states. A narcissist collapse, where the narcissist fully collapses and goes into like a deep depression kind of state where they start withdrawing, isolating, and doing stuff like that shows more like they have just given up on their life. Or narcissistic hibernation, where if they hibernate, they enter a state of temporary rest where they gain their strength back and think of ways, if they still have some, to acquire supply back, which is why you may have noticed.
I love the way he puts that. He said, think of ways if they still have some. And let me tell you, trust that they are thinking of ways when they run out of the ways that have been exhausted. Let's continue.
That most narcissists hoard money, materialistic stuff, because money can become a temporary, reliable source to get the supply that you could not get otherwise using the tactics that did not use money. Now, if a narcissist hibernates and if they have hoarded a lot of money, if they have a lot of materialistic.
There's actually a narcissist that's doing right now. He's actually hibernating, trying to figure out the next money scheme, trying to figure out how he's going to get money from his listeners. He's trying to figure out how he's going to try to exploit the next thing, because that's what they do. They're always looking to exploit, and they're always looking to manipulate and control the situation, especially when it comes to money. A lot of them are always looking for the next scheme to try to make the next buck off of the manipulation. All right. And it's very interesting that this is happening right now with a lot of narcissists that I know of. So keep this in mind because he's dropping gems. Let's continue.
Stuff or things that they can use, then they start using stuff like that to get supply. Other narcissists step into positions that gives them power and authority. For example, some narcissists who were clearly non-religious throughout their life certainly start becoming religious. They become those religious leaders who talk about God, spirit, and all the stuff in between all the time, because that gives them the opportunity to have a crowd around them who pays attention, who listens, who follows.
Doesn't that sound familiar? See, the person who has this platform is now just focusing on reading scriptures, because that's what they do. They know that certain people are going to gravitate, like Danish said, in spirituality, in religion. So they know that if they're reading scriptures or whatever, a lot of people that are faithful to the word and they want to receive the word are going to gravitate to them. So that's going to give them a crowd. And in actuality, I could tell you from this piece of shit narc that lives out here in Florida, that's pretty much all he has right now, is he has people following him when he's reading scriptures. And that's all he's focusing on. And it's not a coincidence that this is happening, because this is what happens when the narcissist starts to go through their decline. because their life is a decline. This is not something that just started yesterday. This is not something that just started for this man or this woman or anybody else for that matter that I'm talking about here. This has been going on for years, but it's a process. It's a process of elimination spiritually. They start to lose their light. Whatever light they had, it just starts to diminish slowly but surely. Everything in their life starts to crumble little by little. And especially if they're in a relationship with somebody, that person's life gets to start to crumble slowly but surely. But that person is their source of energy supply. And most of the time, they don't even realize it. They convince themselves a lot of times. A lot of these men and women that are married to people like this, they convince themselves that things are not as bad as they seem to be. But in reality, they are. They just become so delusional that they become the enabler of this type of behavior because they know if they try to check them, it's going to be a world of problems for them. Then that's when they go on their podcast and they start crying, talking about some people will never change and some people get to a certain age and can't see the errors in their ways. And it's like, well, that's your problem because you are allowing it to happen, and you have to make a decision. And I personally agree with Dr. Ramani, where I believe that the only people that a narcissist should be in romantic relationships with is another narcissist. Let's continue.
Follows them. The narcissist becomes that cult leader and has that authority to control again. So they just try to
Ding, ding, ding. Tell him what he's won, Johnny. A brand new car. Listen, people, that's exactly the narcissist that try to slander my name. He's a cult leader, and he has a lot of cult followers. And he's using the scriptures to create this cult that he's created. And what a lot of these people do, like the narc that I'm talking about, is that they take something that is pure, something that has so much truth and understanding in it, and then they build their narrative behind it. So even though you are receiving the truth, you're getting it from their perspective and narrative. So because you understand that the word is the truth, because you're following these people, these cult-like leaders that are narcissists, you start taking their narrative as the truth as well, subconsciously. You don't even realize it. I can tell you when I was following this man, there was a time where he said that blessings come from Satan and that Satan is the only one who gives blessings. That blessings doesn't even really exist in scriptures unless it's coming from Satan. And he really had nothing to prove this except his narrative based on the scriptures that he was reading. And my dumbass and many others that are still doing it present day, we subscribe to this bullshit and we actually stopped saying blessings. Can you believe that? I'm a little ashamed to admit it, but I really did stop saying that for a while. For a good 7 or 8 months, I stopped saying blessings. And I had to catch myself like, what the hell is going on here? But this is the type of spell and influence that they have, that they can get you to stop saying that because they become the word of authority until you have to wake up out of the slumber. But I could tell you from things that I've seen and I've heard about from others, there's still a lot of brothers and sisters out there that listen to this cult leader and don't say the word blessings, that because it's almost like blasphemous to say the word blessings. It's kind of comical when people would be in discussion and we would sneeze and everybody just stays quiet because they feel like if they say bless you, they're basically saying Satan is blessing you. The insanity is insane, people. Let's continue.
On these ways, these different ways to give them the power back that they lost earlier because they cannot use the ways that they had access to earlier. And this is how a narcissist ends up. But eventually nothing works. Everybody, in most of the cases, is able to see through them and leaves them. And they end up lonely, miserable, single, struggling, suffering, and no one there to take care of them. No one there to genuinely support them throughout their last days. Because this is exactly what happened to my grandfather, and this is what I have seen, this is what I have heard about in the stories that people share with me. Bringing it together, all together, narcissists are like vessels. They need supply, and they use different ways of acquiring the supply. But as time goes on, the dependency weakens because they can no more rely on those ways. As time changes everything, they then eventually.
And that's exactly true. And that's why we're seeing the decline with a lot of these narcissists in the way that they influence people. And that's why you see some of them like this man take a break. You see people kind of go out of the scene for a while, and they're trying to figure out other ways because the ways they've been using are not working. It's deteriorating. Because of what he just said, it's eventually going to collapse. And they are eventually going to collapse. Let's continue.
Either collapse, like fully go into that depression-like state and then almost turn into a victim, or they hibernate temporarily and then come out with different ways of acquiring supply. Be it taking a position of a religious leader, a spiritual leader, a teacher, or a politician, or anything that you can think of that can give them that power back. I hope.
So there you go, people. You know, judgment comes for these narcissists, but they are relentless in the pursuit of manipulating others to get the proper attention and energy supply that they desire and covet so much. So, brothers and sisters, it's not going to be a long, drawn-out episode, but I am going to play some music to end the episode. But I hope that this has brought you some awareness about how judgment is coming for the narcs. So do not feel like you got the shit end of the stick, because the reality, your life has value. Your life is meaningful and has great purpose. And chances are that if you've been through this narcissistic abuse and that you had to endure this type of individual in your life, don't worry, people, because the reality is that there's a reason why it happened. And you're going to just be fine. They're not. They're the ones that are truly suffering. But it's not your job to feel sorry for them. Because the moment you start to feel sorry for these pieces of shit, you are going to wind up tangled into the web that they're weaving of deception and manipulation. And you're going to wind up back where you first started. Or if you're somebody that wasn't even engaged with this person, but starts engaging because you want to become Captain Save-A-Ho, you're going to be in a whirlwind of problems. So avoid these people as much as possible. And if you still love them from a distance and keep it that way. Don't be a Captain Save-A-Ho, okay? Because I could tell you from personal experience, being a Captain Save-A-Ho is just going to have you go into a hole of confusion, a hole of depression, and of many other things that are of lower nature and of very, very, very bad, like a very bad place to be in. All right, people, this is the reason why I'm bringing awareness to narcissism, because not only because it's personal to me, and not only because I had to endure this from this animal that I was dealing with, but also for the simple fact that this is on a steady rise here in this country. And we're going to see a hell of a lot of it once this man, if he decides to run for president again. I'm talking about, Mr. Donald Trump. If we see him going and running for office again, we're going to see a lot of these people sprouting up everywhere. Once again, popping their chest out, being malicious and manipulative and thinking that they're the best thing since sliced bread. So be aware of the narc, people, but also understand that judgment is coming for the narcs. I can't say it enough. And I would be lying to you if I'm telling you that I don't get a little bit of joy out of this. I'm kind of happy that judgment is coming for the narcs that I personally dealt with, especially the woman that I was with. You know what I mean? It's not that I wish bad on her, but I know nothing good is going to happen for her because she's such a wicked, toxic individual. And if these people can only find it in their heart to repent and ask for forgiveness, not just from the Most High, but from the people that they were abusive to. Because I could tell you that chances are they're not, but that's not our problem, people. But if a narc does apologize to you, count your blessings, man, because that is rare. That is rare. But also take it with a grain of salt sometimes, because sometimes if they are apologizing, you got to see if it's really heartfelt, if it's really, coming from a good place, and only time will tell, people. So I hope that for those that are listening to the live broadcast and those that are going to be downloading, please download the show, people. Download the show, download the past shows. And tomorrow we're going to have a great live show at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We got Billy Izzy from the Golden Apple Podcast, Take One from Thinking to Rise. We also have brother Julian Barnes, aka Demon Slayer. We might even have Julio Arce, Alkalize Warrior, come on, and a couple of others. So we are going out with a bang for season 4, and we're going to start even better for season 5 because we are rising. And tomorrow's episode is Unbroken, Still Rising. These narcs will never get the best of us, people. All right. And if you ever have something you want to share, go to my website in regards to narcissism. If you want to give your testimony about dealing with narcissistic abuse, come on to the show. Fill out the guest form on my website, which is networkofawareness.com, or send me an email at orra@networkofawareness.com. I really, truly appreciate you, brothers and sisters. So stay tuned as we close out with some music. And brothers and sisters, when you live in the present, there's always an opportunity for a new beginning. So don't look for the light at the end of the tunnel, because the light is and always will be within you. So light up the tunnel and find your way through the darkness. There's a great awakening happening, and we got to give our praise to the Most High and be faithful to the Most High, because that spiritual awakening is happening all over the world, and either you're in it or you're not. Peace, love, and light, brothers and sisters, and Barakatah. Let's go.
The title of the show is called Music, Satan's Favorite Gateway,
You are now
because
tuned
music
in
can
to
be
the network
a
of
demonic
awareness.
portal. What I mean by that, everybody knows the popular quote, what goes in must
Tell me
come
what's
out,
happening to me.
because whatever you feed your mind and soul
Without the
is going to
mumbo
eventually
jumbo.
reflect in your actions and thoughts.
It's a fight to the finish, just like Tyson and Tillis. The spirit guides me to finish. To touch you, I hope you feel it. No doubt, and that's for the pigeons. Fist right to the villain of evil, manipulating this generation of children. Things I see in the media got me heated up. Girls barely in their teens used for pedophilia. Celebrities simply misleading them. How can you live with yourself, knowing damn well that you deceiving them? Feeding them nonsensical bullshit for their mental, like it's cool to be famous when you know it's detrimental. Y'all convince them that it's hard work, dedication, and God. Last time I checked, we give all our praises straight to Yahweh. Hey, come on, the music is more than just vibes. Keeps us pushing forward every day of our lives. It's my 9 to 5 to do it and do it right. You know I gotta stay on the grind.
If deception was the only way that I could reach the me, I would stop rapping in a heartbeat. Music is a way of praising Father Yahweh Elohim. But Babylon tells you chase the dream. Infinite songs, but only 1/3 of it is living up to what it's supposed to be. Thank Elohim for the remnant who understands the power of music.
The fear of COVID got people so petrified.
In one's life lies, Jah and Satan choose a side. A lot of righteous haters try to play both sides. They lack faith and work so spirit stays penalized. I realize life is hard without the Most High, and he who knows there's much to learn is really wise. Mad grateful to be alive to see the sun rise. Try to stop my vibes, I'm exercising swords and arms. I'm in my prime, righteously prepared to shine and grind. So shock the surprise every time you analyze my rhymes. Cause auras align with stars you can't even find. I spit that light that leaves chills up and down your spine. You coulda, woulda, but didn't. Who you kidding? And my fans frontin' forbidden. Who the fuck is you fibbing? You better think twice before you think I'm tripping on y'all children. If you feel hard, then we gonna make you harder. Hear it?
If deception was the only way that I could reach the me, I would stop rapping in a heartbeat. Music is a way of praising Father Yahweh Elohim, but Babylon tells you chase the dream. Infinite songs, but only 1/3 of it is living up to what it's supposed to be. Thank Elohim for the remnant who understands the power of the music.
Feel like music influences your behavior or people's behavior?
If you allow music to do it, it's a difference. You know, like I said, there's people out here who could consume music one way and not, well, at least they feel that they're not affected by it. There's other people who live their life through music. Like anything that certain artists say is Bible to them.
In the mix. 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 Take one. Take one. The infamous. The infamous.
The mind of the soldier holds stars deep as an ocean.
He chose and focused, devoted to get a crown in the road with it.
Road is narrow and focused, you can tell by the way in which he flows with it.
None of these rappers, y'all opposers are lost soul in them.
Holding them all accountable for the music controlling them.
Countless of hundred thousands of soulless people supporting them.
Righteous music accounts, most folks won't go to them.
Don't worry about it, cause Yahweh knows who the chosen is.
Shalom to them for constantly dropping projects for y'all to spin.
Food for the spirit, once you hear it, now you confident.
Daily battle, fighting hard like we in a boxing gym.
Babylon ain't looking tall no more, she needs oxygen.
Got the win, still got motions floating that we got to live.
Positive, roller coaster, corporate, watch you cooperative.
Jab now, cry later, just not with the consequence.
Zombies swelling in the dark, my direction where Yahweh is.
Destined for greatness, but not the kind that you're thinking of.
Pointless being famous in a realm that the demons run.
Yet, you still got takers who making vibrations.
Elated eagles and cadences leave you feeling all vacant.
Cause Satan tanks them and breaks them and makes them look real amazing.
The gaze and phase in the matrix, embracing the vacant awaken.
The cake and bacon temptation persuades to change your foundation. If Yahweh in your brain, then we end up discombobulation.
In one's life lies Yah and Satan choose a side. In one's life lies Yah and Satan choose a side. In one's life lies Yah and Satan choose a side. A lot of righteous haters try to play both sides. In one's life lies Yah and Satan choose a side. In one's life lies Yah and Satan choose a side. In one's life lies Yah and Satan choose a side. A lot of righteous haters try to play both sides.
You are now tuned in to the Network of Awareness.
Wow!
This how I felt since your youth. I love you. Why do I feel this way? I'm talking everything, there's nothing I can say. You took my mind away, stuck in that drama phase. You don't acknowledge me, telling you honestly, yeah.
See, this how I felt since a youngin'. Before the kids and the thuggin'. Women be frontin', they use us. You ain't got it, they on to the next who got it. Looking for profit is pitiful, but the sea full of suckers is plentiful. How much money you making is critical. These women deceiving is biblical. So how do I play my part as a man in the sea with the greatest shark? I don't know why I adapt, hunting them like they hunting us. Live it up, always out for that bigger buck. Switch it up, cause you never know, but you better know most of they lust for the devil, bro. Women's love can be bought with materials. Another one they won't play on the radio.
This how I felt since a youth. I love you. Why do I feel this way? I'm talking everything, there's nothing I can say. You took my mind away, stuck in that drama phase. You don't acknowledge me, telling you honestly. This how I felt since a youth. I love you. Why do I feel this way? I'm talking everything, there's nothing I can say. You took my mind away, stuck in that drama phase. You don't acknowledge me, telling you honestly.
Let's fall in love later, make this money and moves, build an empire, put this money to use. Yeah, there'll be wars, that's the moment of truth, but I'll ride or die to spend moments with you. There's nothing I wouldn't give, wouldn't do, girl, it's much higher. See, in my point of view, see, I burn for you, keep you warm in the nude, it's a sweet deal. You got nothing to lose, so go tell your friends that it's him again, here with them gangsters and gentlemen. All other guys are irrelevant, locked in this room, and you don't even notice the elephant. Shit, girl, are you blind? Cause I'm right here. Never gone, never left, it is quite clear. Cause all eyes on you with a tight stare. This could be a dream come true or a nightmare.
This how I felt since a youth. I love you. Why do I feel this way? I'm talking everything, there's nothing I can say. You took my mind away, stuck in that drama phase. You don't acknowledge me, telling you honestly. This how I felt since a youth. I love you. Why do I feel this way? I'm talking everything, there's nothing I can say. You took my mind away, stuck in that drama phase. You don't acknowledge me, telling you honestly.
You are now tuned in to the Network of Awareness.
I made mistakes on purpose to divide the worth from the worthless. Reveal the facts to be certain. No pain, no gain in the verses. My faith been alive before churches. Cause Yah is person on person. So I'm worried about complicated versions. Cause the call to divine divergence. I'm still hurting, soul searching. Networking and murking. Anytime think I drop my curtain. With a spirit that city suburban. I'm seriously merging and physically working on my purpose. To lyrically service the mental malnourished until I perish.
Yahweh's gonna save the awakened, then take him to an ageless haven. Patient, I can't stray away, gotta keep obliterating the pavement. Still remember that day on the phone, Mark, he said, yo, don't you take your foot off the gas. Always something to give y'all praises.
We're in a dark oasis, with countless cases, a peak of faithless. I'ma need the patience, defeat them chases. We seek his graces for true salvation. We keep on praising, we go on blazing these revelations. Cease to hate, no altercations. Good vibrations, we back to basics to build foundations. Y'all defeated Satan. I done made mistakes on purpose to divide the worth from the worthless. Reveal the facts to be certain. No pain, no gain in the verses. My faith been alive before churches. Cause Yah is person on person. So I'm worried about complicated versions. Cause the call to divine divergence. I'm still hurting, soul searching. Networking and murking. Anytime think I drop my curtain. With a spirit that city suburban. I'm seriously merging and physically working on my purpose. To lyrically service the mental malnourished until I perish. People pursuing acts of violence. Their persistent act of defiance. Freely forming a righteous alliance. Truly against the science appliance. On a mission with wisdom and guidance. Steady defeating the ignorant science. Sealy convicted and non-compliant. Spiritual wars to move in silence.
Let's talk about what matters. Drop the vanity. Folks out here losing their sanity. Kids popping off, lost in fantasies. People grieving over loss of family. The evil that be with the power. Turning the people with credence to cowards. Seeking to seize believers with vows. Many even Stevie can see that it's foul.
I done made mistakes on purpose to divide the worth from the worthless. Reveal the facts to be certain. No pain, no gain in the verses. My faith been alive before churches. Cause Yah is person on person. So I'm worried about complicated versions. Cause the call to divine divergence. I'm still hurting, soul searching. Networking and murking. Anytime think I drop my curtain. With a spirit that city suburban. I'm seriously merging and physically working on my purpose.
generation gone with every song. Music led by another echelon.
To get you strong, keep pressing on, long after we dead and gone.
From dusk till dawn, we're righteously armed with spiritual lessons from Yah.
We where we belong, we keep it on, the righteous with third of Zion.
Records embellished with heavenly eloquence.
Elohim's presence presently evident.
Intricate elements, infinite intelligence.
Spiritual specimens lyrically resonant.
The gift was inheritance, smaller percentages.
Carefully measured and meant to be shared.
With the message projected, cemented, embedded.
The sensible question is, what will you give from it? Made mistakes on purpose to divide the word from the worthless. Reveal the facts to be certain. No pain, no gain in the verses. My faith been alive before churches, cause Yah is person on person. So I'm worried about complicated versions, cause the call to divine divergence. I'm still hurting, so searching. Networking and murking. Anytime think I drop my curtain. With a spirit that city suburban. I'm seriously merging and physically working on my purpose. To lyrically service the mental malnourished until I perish.
You are now tuned in to the Network of Awareness.
Here we are back again, about to drop some facts again. Yahweh's word spreads like a fish's net for capturing those with an ear to listen, those who paid attention, those who stand bold like a soldier with their convictions, not quick to fold or throw in the towel when under pressure. They walk it like they talk it, they live the message, but depression's what most folks are facing. They got the vaccination, we in zombie land, pretty soon we gon' have to dance. Better keep that sword in your body, fam, cause this far from the game, Babylon will burn down in flames. Some deaths are better off real slow, so you can witness the pain. You tortured slaves, 400 plus years of pain, hung brothers up in the trees, swinging for days and days. Now this is your end of days, you looking so disarrayed. Try to cover your ears, but the truth still gon' penetrate. The hatred is strong, but races still want to imitate and integrate. Only Yahweh's chosen holy nation can ever be this great.
Yahweh's amazing. Before I eat, I'm saying my graces. I pray for knowledge and wisdom and peace. We dwell in greatness. 144,000 frequencies and vibrations. So don't give me amp. Go take a hike and camp like concentrations. Pull up my pants, it's in my genes to elevate genetics. I'm concentrating, no recess to dominate recessives. No car insurance, the way I swerve, baby, like impressive. Stephanie Courtney, know my flow is looking more progressive. My aura is a network full of awareness and gifts like aura, the informationalist. Shout out my brother, take one. All these chances in life, don't hesitate and wait to take one. We are the true Jews, about to take off. Hitler knows we don't play soft. I pull up and let like 8 off. Watch a demon head splatter, give me back my platter that y'all just ate off.
Yo, remember what we talked about building something special as 1/3? Well, I feel like we're finally here. A righteous Wall Street, bro. Yes, sir, let's get it.
All praise to the Most High, this is only the beginning. Righteously preparing, raising our awareness. No social engineering, just faithful forbearing. Salute to those faith in it, kings and queens creating it. That's people awakening, 2/3 be forsaking him. 1/3 keeps on praising him, putting all my faith in him. Most people be faking it, munching on some bacon bits. Ignorance remains in bliss. In this life I came to win. Righteousness I'm living in. Truth is the enlightenment. Yahweh's the embodiment of peace and redefinement. Elohim is in the science, go grown out for lions. Raising the horizons, frequency just heightens. Spirit always brightens, no fear can ever frighten. A man on the mission, living out his visions. Truth to the tradition, gaining all the wisdom. To be freed from the prison, transition with God's mercy. With the early worthy, realist, righteous visionaries.
Too many people live their life in sin. You gotta change your life before the...
You are now tuned in to the Network of Awareness.
Yes, I want to just thank everybody who was tuned in to the end of this show. I hope you enjoyed the music. I hope you enjoyed episode 99 of season 4 of the Network of Awareness. And greatly appreciate you, brothers and sisters. So this is going to be the last beat I play, Worse Before Better. And understand that we will get better. And the only people that are getting worse are the narcs. So once again, peace and blessings to all those out there. And keep on thriving. All praises. Let's go.
This concludes the Network of Awareness podcast. For more information on the Network of Awareness, please subscribe via email to our website, networkofawareness.com, and follow us on Spreaker.com or any other listening apps you use. For any questions about the NOA, email us at aura@networkofawareness.com. Thank you for listening to one of the fastest growing podcast shows on society and culture in America and abroad. When you live in the present, there's always an opportunity for a new beginning. Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings.